Call to the City Council work session to order for Monday, March 18th, 2024. Secretary, please call the roll.
Council President Schilling.
Here.
Councilor Adams.
Here.
Councilor Barrientos.
Here.
Councilor Briggs.
Here.
Councilor Collins.
Present.
Councilor Fitzgerald.
Here.
Councilor Jantz.
Here.
Councilor Shane.
Here.
Councilor Burden is excused.
Thank you. First item on the agenda is the Senior Center update.
So we've got Steve Moore, the Executive Director of the Dallas Area Seniors here. He's going to give us an update on the Senior Center. I just wanted to kind of go over what was in the staff report. So the City of Dallas currently has a contract with the Dallas Area Seniors where we provide the facility for a senior center. We do not charge rent for the use of the facility, and we provide building and grounds maintenance at no cost. The seniors have agreed to pay 60% of the actual utility costs, plus the cost of a janitor each month. And then the remaining balance of the utility costs are paid through a second contract with Northwest Senior Disability Services, who provide Meals on Wheels services 3 days a week from the senior center. We also support the Dallas Area Seniors with printing and mailing their senior center newsletter each month. And we have a page on the Dallas webpage dedicated to the seniors, which includes links to the membership application and their monthly newsletters. So I'm going to ask Steve if he can come up and give his report.
Yes.
You're talking to an ex-minister, so I'm used to standing, the rest of not sitting down.
And if you can make sure you talk into the microphone so that we get it for the people at home.
Yeah, well, this way, if I'm shaking underneath the table, you won't see it, so. Well, I appreciate the opportunity to come and talk to you. Just quickly, I was given, I guess, about 15 minutes. I'll try to race through why I'm here. I was asked to serve on the Dallas Area Seniors Board back in May, and learned quite a bit, heard a lot from members and conflicting reports and a lot of stuff. And then at the end of the year, the Dallas Area Seniors decided to go forward with hiring an executive director, and I was asked to consider it. And so I decided to run for that. And so they hired me. I started in January. So I've only been in the position for 2.5 months, learning a lot about the relationship with the city and the different issues that people have. My main reason for coming here is to try to have the council consider giving the Dallas Area Seniors a little more support. You may know some of these demographics, but just for the heck of it, I think the paper is in their folders, so I'm not going to read it. But basically, Dallas consists of about 25% on demographics as far as the population. 25% of Dallas is seniors. 30% of those is voting members. If you get rid of the kids from young people from 1 to 18, they represent about 25%. So your seniors represent about 30% of those that vote and pay taxes and support this community. When I got on the position, I started looking around because part I was charged was to try to find a way to keep us financially afloat. And then when they added a director, of course, that brought some more costs. If you look across America and you look at the numbers, most senior centers are supported financially by the tax dollars. That's the majority of senior centers across America. Then there's those like us that, are not supported. We do raise our own money or try to raise our own money through dues, through seniors. In our community, at least here in Dallas, and those that are involved at the Dallas Senior Center, I have a lot of single widowed ladies, and there's a lot of people that just don't have a lot of money. And at this point, we charge $20 membership dues. We have roughly 275 as of last year's count, and $20 times 275, you do the math, that's about $5,000. That comes pretty far short. And so we're looking for ways to try to raise revenues to help cover the cost of running the Dallas area seniors. So that's really why I'm here. She brought up a contract, and there's some conflict, at least from my reading and having a few others read it. The contract, I don't know if they got them in your box or emailed to you, But the contract that we've been operating under was originally signed back in 2014. And that was an agreement between the city and Dallas area seniors for the use of the building when it was going to be complete. There were some understandings, at least from members, and I know you talk to different people, you get different stories. So I'm just going by facts. And in that contract on the first page, it says that the city charges or gives the right and the responsibility, those are the words used in the contract, to basically schedule and manage the building. At some point later, and I don't know when the contract was originally signed, the copy that I have dated last year shows that they have made an agreement with, what's it called, Northwest Families or Seniors. Thank you. She should be giving the report. And when that contract was written, now they are given Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings from 7:30 to 12:30 to use the kitchen as well as our main meeting area to seat people if they want to feed them there. So now part of what we were told is that we have the contract with the city, and now this other contract was written and signed. And as far as I know, I asked Emily, I said, I don't know of any other document that exists that shows that Dallas area seniors gave a permission for the use of the building by another agency. And so there's a conflict. So what I deal with on a regular basis is conflict between the Meals on Wheels and our people, because they thought they had it. They feel like the city took that away from them when they issued a separate contract. So it makes my job a little difficult when I show up and I'm supposed to be the executive director. I am supposed to schedule and work on programs at the senior center, and I don't have full use of the facilities on a regular basis. And if you've ever been in the senior center, it's not a huge place. It's a very, very small, and to try to get as many programs and things taken care of in a small place and juggle is extremely difficult. So it just makes it hard. The other thing I would like to ask, I know if you're familiar, I'm not, but is something called AARP, Age-Friendly City. If you guys are familiar with that. Monmouth and Independence are both age-friendly cities, and I would really encourage the city council to pursue, make a declaration to be an age-friendly city and go through the process. And if we do, then I guess, as I understand it, AARP will give money, grants to the city to help the city become more age-friendly. And it could be park benches, it could be parking. I don't know what it all is, but I was told that, and I would like to request that the city consider that, as well as giving some support to help us fund the senior center. That's really it in a nutshell. And if there's any questions.
Yeah, thanks. Emily brought the contract issue to my attention today. It took a little bit of time. I didn't have much to look into it. My recommendation to the council would be to let the city manager work this out. There are two contracts. The Northwest Housing and Senior Disability Services contract goes back, I think, around to 2018 or 20. A couple of city managers ago in its early iteration. So I think we need to look at the genesis of that. But most importantly, that contract, both of these contracts, both with Northwest Senior Disability Services and also the Senior Center management contract, are going to expire in the not too distant future. The Northwest Senior Disability Services expires June 30th this year. The Senior Center management agreement expires on the 5th anniversary of the certificate of occupancy, which will probably be coming up pretty soon. I think that all can be worked out in the renegotiation of both of these contracts, and that really is a function, I think, for the city manager.
Any questions or comments? Any questions or comments, Steve?
Nope. Promise them.
Yeah. Okay,
Thank you for your time.
thank you.
Thank you.
And the next item on the agenda is ARPA project review.
So as you guys probably all know, we received about $3.7 million through the American Rescue Plan Act. 100% of that funding needs to be committed by December 30th, 2024. Is it 2026, Cecilia, that the funds need to be expended? They need to be expended by the end of 2026, but we have to have contracts signed for all of the funds by the end of this year, one day less than the end of this year.
Because it doesn't exist.
Right. So the city council previously approved a plan to spend all of the funding. A lot of those projects are underway. Some of them have been completed. Brian included in the staff report a table of the projects that you had identified and the status of them. As you can see, there are several that are completed. Some of them came in under budget. A couple are over budget. And so the bottom line is we have about $217,800 that we still need to identify how we want to spend that. Brian identified those 2 projects that he recommends we use the funding for. The first is for professional services for the police station project, including architecture, financial, and marketing services. And we are about ready to issue an RFP for those services. The second project would be an extension of fiber to our city buildings that are currently not in our system, which includes the Aquatic Center, the Senior Center, and the Public Works shops. We have identified this for a long time as we really need to do this, but we've kept pushing it back because we didn't have the funds, particularly with the construction of our new Public Works shops later this year. It would be nice to have that fiber run to those buildings. And again, those contracts would need to be signed by December 30th, just so that we've got that money committed by then. Any questions?
I have a question. Are these for a one-time project,
Yes,
not for ongoings?
correct.
Does I didn't hear your question, but does the $217,000 ask cover both of those in its entirety?
It should. Again, we have yet to issue the RFP for the professional services. And we would need to get a quote for the fiber, but it should. And if it didn't cover all of it, we would have to identify funding to cover the rest.
I thought I saw a budget number for the architectural services for the police station in the $2 million range. It's just a preliminary work for it?
That I don't know the answer to that. This would be for the architectural services. I don't know the answer to that question.
David?
Assuming that we decide to endorse the recommendation, which I think we probably will, because they both sound like good uses for the money, do we need to do something formal to authorize that, or does he just need a consensus from us? We need a motion, an ordinance, how do we do that?
I think in the past we've had motions, so I think that'd be appropriate.
How do we formalize it?
It seems to me probably what would be appropriate tonight would be a preliminary approval of this, and coming back with a
Right.
allocation
Sure.
of these dollars to the 2 different projects. You actually have budget,
Right.
specific commitments
If we
to
know
approve
that,
to each of
right,
these.
if
Yeah.
we know that this is the direction the council wants to go, we can get harder numbers on the cost of running the fiber and at least issue the RFP and kind of get an idea what that's going to cost. And that still gives us time then to get stuff signed.
Does the contract renegotiation with the Dallas Area Senior Center impact the fiber optics install in any way, shape, or form?
Regardless, I think we're going to want fiber in that building. It's a city building, so I think regardless, we're going to want to make sure
Okay.
that we've got
Great.
fiber in there.
Thank you.
I kind of like where Councilor Collins was headed on that. But I guess it wouldn't be a sustainable funding stream, would it, for the senior center?
No.
And we really need to use ARPA
Right.
funds for a one-shot deal.
Right.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah, just to confirm, this memo is for information only, not for action. So I think this is just to ask for a head nod. If you are inclined to approve these, then I assume Brian would bring back the specific dollar amounts tagged for each of the projects.
So is everybody in agreement to that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll pursue that and come back to you guys with more information.
Okay. Okay, moving on. Any other business? No other business? We'll be back at 7 o'clock.